From the iShin Broadcast Studio, it's What's Treading, brought to you by Apex.
Hello and welcome to What's Treading. My name is David. I am the editor of Tire Review, and today we are speaking with Marshall Gillespie. He is the Director of Proprietary Brand Commercial Merchandising at American Tire Distributors, or ATD. Let's get to the interview. Marshall, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. Really appreciate it. I want to start kind of from this kind of 100,000 foot view of the market. So, as far as you are concerned, what are some of the trends? We're starting to get toward the end of 2024 here. What sort of trends are you seeing kind of evolving or maybe even, brewing for 2025 as far as the medium duty truck tire market goes?
Yeah, well, first off, thank you for having me. Excited to be here. Some of the trends that we are seeing personally from our side, I would say, is the acceptance, I would say, of the value brand. Hercules Tire has been around for 70 years. We market ourselves as a value brand in the market for quality, right? So I would say in the medium truck space, we've really started to see growth in that segment. It's usually a market, as you probably know, that's dominated by a lot of tier one names, tier two names that take up a lot of market share. Over the past year, we've continued to see growth and acceptance from both the fleets, owner operators to try new brands, right? To try new names maybe they haven't tried before in the past. And that's allowed us to get in the door of some of these, both the dealers and some of these new fleets to prove our product and to prove that not only is the quality there, that it gets them the mileage they might need or, the cost savings, right, that they might be looking for without sacrificing quality at the end of the day. So that's something that we've really been seeing in the marketplace this year, especially with some of the economical factors that have been playing out, right? The macroeconomics in the world, people are trying to stretch their dollar a little further. So there has been a little more acceptance in that space. So that's one of the things that we've been seeing from our end. Another one I wouldn't say is necessarily a new trend, but last mile delivery has been around now, for a few years. It started on the scene really peaking around COVID times. It's still strong. We're really seeing growth still from our end in those kind of applications and those sizes. So we're really leaning into that. In terms of our product portfolio, in terms of our ideas for new product development, in terms of our stocking strategies, right? We're really trying to make sure that we're leaning into that space as it continues to be a really strong growing trend in the market right now.
Sure. And I'm sure those LMD tires are not going anywhere anytime soon. I know I am ordering from Amazon and all other kinds of internet marketplaces more than I ever have. With that being said, obviously 2023, not the strongest year in a lot of ways as far as sales are concerned. 2024, my understanding is that things have picked up a bit. What do you anticipate as we go into 2025? What are going to be some of those strong segments, and how do you see kind of the marketplace?
I mean, yeah, I agree with 2023 was definitely a tough year in terms of shipments right into the market. We definitely saw a big decline. It was almost a bounce back after post-COVID to normal. And I think we really experienced kind of a new normal here in 2024. We're starting to see things get back to where they used to be maybe 3 years ago. As we move forward, we do anticipate small growth, right? We do think there's going to be growth. We look at trends just like any other manufacturer would, and you follow the Class 8 utilization, right? You follow some of the key metrics that you see that point in kind of almost a flat right now to slightly uptrend as we move forward to 2025. But overall, we're just trying to monitor the market and make sure we have the tires we need in stock for the dealers and that we can support them at the end of the day.
Fantastic, and I'm sure that is greatly appreciated. Want to kind of shift over to buyer preferences. Have you seen maybe over the last couple of years any sorts of changes as far as what your customers are looking for, or maybe that end user? What are they looking for in their medium duty truck tires? Has that changed at all, or has it really been kind of static?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's changed slightly. Again, as you and I talked a little bit about L&D, that comes in terms of tread patterns too, right? There's been
Mm,
changes to more regional type applications, pickup and delivery type applications. So I think there has been more demand in some of these different segments that we've seen, and in our portfolio. So that trend has definitely been there. I would say. There are obviously a lot of different uses for every different tire, a lot of different truck applications out there.
mhm,
There's still a need for people who are looking for low rolling resistance, right? Some
mhm,
fleets that are doing more long haul. So we make sure that we have the right tire for the right application. We make sure that we call it Eco FT is kind of our name for it, but it's Smart Way approved
mm,
versions of our tires, and not only making sure we meet the smart way approval, but making sure that we kind of surpass that. We don't want to just meet the minimums. We're trying to test pass it and make sure that we're giving those end consumers really what they're looking for. So if they need low rolling resistance, we're trying to put them in the right tire that matches that need. If
mhm.
they need something more for a regional route that they're more focused on mileage, over low rolling resistance, we're making sure we're matching them up with the tread pattern that we have in our portfolio. I would also say retreading seems to be continuing to be strong. So something we do from our end, we've really been focusing on our casing qualities.
Mm.
We do provide a three case retreading warranty, meaning for workmanship and material, we will protect the tires for up to 3 retreads for instances that happen along the way. So that's something that we're really focused on and making sure we stand behind our product every day, and making sure our dealers know and our end consumers, right, the fleets owner operators know that we stand behind that product for retreading as well.
That's fantastic. And I'm just curious, from your perspective, have you seen a difference between the medium duty segment and the heavy duty segment as far as retreading goes? How popular is it in between those segments? Are you seeing, more heavy duty fleets choosing to retread their tires over the medium duty fleets? Is it kind of flat? Have you seen any data on that?
I haven't seen any data on it. I mean, from the dealers that we deal with, it seems to be more heavy duty, but that's not to say that's the trend going that way. I know there are some dealers kind of on the smaller end, right, on the smaller 19.5 size kind of tires, medium size tires that are starting. But for us, at least, it seems more on the heavy duty, taller 22,
Sure,
24.5 type
sure.
tires. Yeah.
And that makes sense. Absolutely.
Presented from the Ishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
So tires, they're always evolving. They're not just, black, round, and rubber like you might want to think. So I'm curious, how has the technology been evolving in the medium duty truck tire segment? What are some, something that you might want to point to in these tires that have really, changed the game maybe over the past year or so?
Yeah, so at least from my perspective, from Hercules in our portfolio, we again have been around for 70 years. We manufacture, both in the U.S. and globally with our manufacturing partners, and something we've been really working on, especially with the new StrongGuard line. It's not, when I say new, it's been around for about 5 or 6 years, but we continue to develop new product styles. That's kind of Hercules' identity in
Hmm.
medium truck is the StrongGuard name now, and that's where it really started to turn on the different technologies and qualities that we were testing out. That's where we started to differentiate ourselves as a value brand in the market, showing our quality. And I would say that's a lot through, we talked about retreading. It's about the casing, right? So casing width seems to be very important to dealers. So we've been really ensuring that, we are meeting new tread widths, getting wider, right? Optimizing the footprint, not only for performance on the first time around, right, on the new tire, but as they go to retread the tire, it can fit the different needs
Mm.
of the retreaders, right? Have that width they need for some of these new retreads that they want to use to help their business. So that's been one, I would say, from our casings. There's been a lot of work done, at least on our end, in terms of the raw materials, not only where they get sourced, but also how they're mixed, right? So there's a lot of new technology going on the manufacturing end that we've seen coming up in the market, and a lot of different ways to stretch that triangle. If you've heard of the magical performance triangle, right? You can't have every kind of performance benefit you want, but how do you keep stretching that triangle a little more and more to meet more of the needs all in one. So I would say that's done through compounding, right, and the mixing that they've done. They've found new technologies and ways to do that, along with just different technological ways of testing our tires. Even, as we get into development, they're looking at how they think the tire will meet the road, how the footprint will look, and things that they can do really ahead of time to try and get the best performance they can when that tire comes to the market. So
fantastic.
Yep.
And then, from your perspective, what challenges, what kind of headwinds are you anticipating as we go into 2025 here? I mean, what are your customers worried about? And then, what are the medium duty fleets out there? What are they worried about, as far as the tire market is concerned?
Yeah, well, I wish I could say I wasn't worried about supply chain logistics anymore. I don't think any of us want to be a supply chain expert anymore after COVID times, right? But I think that's still becoming a challenge in 2024. It has been, at least in the first half of the year. We've seen a lot of disruptions in the supply chain this year due to many different global factors that have slowed things down and made delays in shipments for probably us and some other manufacturers out there. So that's been a challenge in the industry. But we continue to source our products globally, obviously, and look at new ways of making sure that we can get our products in the right time we need for our customers. I would also say looming tariffs in the TVR world continue to be possibly a disruptor. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Thailand tariffs right now, where about 40% of the imports are coming from. So that has been a disruptor for the market. It did get passed. Obviously, they still haven't made their final decision, which will come in October, but that could also be a disruptor as we move forward into 2025, depending on how that goes along with an election year. So
sure.
Again, our best way as Hercules at getting around that is making sure, as we look forward at these risks, that we are making, again, globally sourced, we can move our product to where we need to go to make sure that we're meeting the customer's needs for both quality, on-time deliveries, and the price that they're looking for.
So, of course, ATD is doing all it can to, tighten up that supply chain, make sure that there's as few steps as possible to help get that product to customers. What do your customers, the tire dealer, what do they need to be thinking about right now that can, maybe help them, ease any fears that they might have concerning anything that you just described, tariffs or supply chain?
No, great question. Great question. I would say, the good thing about being partnered with ATD, so Hercules is exclusively partnered with ATD. We have 113 DCs throughout the U.S. So we're the largest distributor of tires in the United States. What I would say in this time is, we are trying to take that burden off of our dealers' backs. And what I mean by that is, during COVID, we saw a lot of dealers, buying containers direct, loading up on product because there was a lot of fear in the market. There was a lot of fear of supply shortages, right, in the market during those times. So a lot of people loaded up, and that ties up cash flow. That ties up things that they could be using that money for in other ways to improve their business. So what we want to be to them, with 113 distribution centers, is we will carry that product for you. We can deliver that product daily, and get it to them. They don't need to be the ones always investing in that inventory. That's what we want to do for our dealers. We also offer other modes of distribution, not just through our DCs. We offer container deals, just like other manufacturers do. So if that is something that they want to do, we also offer truckloads out of our mixing warehouses that we have at ATD, large mixing warehouses throughout the states. So we're trying to be that multi-solution for any dealer. We can be just in time. If you want to plan ahead, there are those options too. And we just want to make sure there's different solutions at the end of the day.
Fantastic. Well, Marshall, thank you so much. I know I've learned a lot. This has been really eye-opening for me. So really appreciate your time here today. Thank you.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, that was really, really good insight. Tires are always evolving, and medium-duty truck tires obviously no different. And as we approach 2025, it's just really great to have a friend like Marshall on to be able to impart his knowledge on to us. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.